You know what today is, folks? Mock Draft Monday. Let's do the business.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh, how about that new open, everybody? Welcome in. Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network. What's up, brother? It is Monday, April 15th, and a Tuesday, April 16th. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, that includes on Apple, Google, Spotify, or on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Please subscribe and check us out each and every day on the video side on Locked On Lions today on a Monday, brought to you by our good friends at FanDuel. You know FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers are going to get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks, at Locked On Lions on Twitter, Matt Derry Facebook fan page, and also on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Shout out to our everydayers that are out there. Appreciate all of you for sure. I know I'm going to run into some of you hopefully next week at the draft. Not sure where I'm going to be, how I'm going to be doing this whole thing, but I'll be checking out some of the action downtown for sure next week. We are less than 2 weeks away. It's like a week and a half to go before April 25th through the 27th. All eyes will be on the city of Detroit for the NFL draft. And of course, round 1 on Thursday, rounds 2 and 3 on Friday. And then of course, the rest of it coming up on Saturday. We have Mock Draft Monday today. Mel Kiper Jr. had a 3-round mock today at ESPN.com. We will tell you about that. Also, price tag just went up for Amon-Ra St. Brown, ladies and gentlemen. I will explain that coming up momentarily on the show. The legend that is Jake Bates continues to run wild through the city of Detroit. I mean, all anybody's talking about is the Michigan Panthers kicker. There's some video out there of Jake Bates high-fiving fans the other day, and they're all going, you got to stay in Detroit. Stay in Detroit. We love you. And we got an update on the top 30 visits, or the 30s, as they call them, the visits for college prospects and the like, coming to Allen Park to visit with Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and everybody down to 222 Rodwood Drive. But let's start with this. It's Monday. We're going to go and do a little mock draft Monday, which we definitely need to do. Tomorrow on the program, by the way, a guest that we have not had on before. I'm looking forward to this. We've had Warren Sharp on. Everybody loves Warren Sharp. Ryan McChrystal from Sharp Football Analytics. Ryan's a draft guy. A couple of our everydayers have wanted Ryan on. We're going to have Ryan on tomorrow on this very program. So looking forward to having him on tomorrow. But anyway, all right, Mock Draft Monday. We go to ESPN.com. For those of you that don't have the insider, we're going to tell you about Mel Kiper Jr., who did his mock draft today with Field Yates. And because Kiper picked the odd numbers and Yates picked the even numbers, Mel made all the selections for the Lions because the Lions are picking 29th in the first round, 61st in the second round, 73rd in the third round. So let's start here. I've been talking about this for weeks. We touched on it last week, I think on Friday on this very program. Darius Robinson, the edge rusher and really versatile defensive lineman, has been mocked to the Lions a ton at number 29. In this mock draft, he's available at 29, and Kiper takes him with the pick at 29, the edge rusher from Missouri. 6'5", 285, big frame, can move inside, can move outside. And Mel Kiper Jr. writes, quote, Robinson was unblockable at Senior Bowl in early February. He's a bit of a tweener, and he might be even better as a 3-technique tackle. He could play some snaps at end in Detroit. Again, no brainer, no surprise. We'll talk about it with Ryan tomorrow, but Darius Robinson going number 29 to Detroit. Again, local kid from Canton, would be coming home, played at Mizzou, and you know, I feel like I'm a broken record repeating myself, but the Lions need him. If Darius Robinson is there at 29, I would take him. The Lions need depth along that defensive line. All right. James Houston is back. He officially signed his restricted free agent contract today with the Lions. He's going to be back. By the way, shout out Craig Reynolds, baby. Come on, Craig. Come on, Craig. He's back as well. IRFA coming back. ERFA. But so Rick Craig's back. James Houston, not a surprise. But the Lions need more depth on that D-line. What if Marcus Davenport gets hurt again? What if John Kaminsky's just not getting it done off the edge? Who's going to be opposite of Hutch? Need somebody else. Charles Harris is gone. Romeo Okwara gone. Julian Okwara gone. They need bodies. And Darius Robinson fits the bill of somebody that is just like Josh Pascal, can play inside, can play outside. Kaminsky can play inside, play outside. We know Brad Holmes likes that kind of versatility. Now with the addition of DJ Reader and him along with Lee McNeil, maybe this gives Pascal more of a chance to play more edge, but he's not his natural spot. Darius Robinson, to me, would be a great pick for the Lions at number 29. And Mel Kiper's right. He was unblockable at the Senior Bowl. At number 61 in the second round, and we know this is a depth need for the Lions, and that is safety. Right now you got Kirby Joseph. You got Ife Melifonwu. Certainly Brian Branch can kind of play corner and safety. But Kiper has the Lions selecting Georgia safety, Javon Bullard. And a very good RAS score of an 8.24 out of 10, and is a guy that is a really good football player. I don't know a ton about Javon Bullard, but a guy that is tenacious, very good tackler coming out of Georgia. Kiper Jr. writes on Bullard, quote, I recently picked Bullard my top-ranked safety in our big super teams draft. He can do it all. The Lions landed Brian Branch in round 2 last year, and they could build an elite duo with these two, end quote. Ran a 4.47 40-yard dash, long arms, pretty good football player. Javon Bullard coming from Georgia. We know how good that defense has been down there in the SEC the last few years. So another young safety to go along with Joseph and Ife and Branch. The Lions need depth at that position. So taking Javon Bullard at 61, how can you argue that? Now, to me, the Lions then would have to take, I would think, either an offensive lineman or a wide receiver with the next pick if you have gone with edge and safety with the first 2 picks. So at number 73 in the third round, the Lions go with wide receiver from Pittsburgh, Bub Means. Of all the wide receivers in this draft, this is not one that I expected the Lions to take. He ran a 4.49 40-yard dash, caught 41 passes for 721 yards and 6 touchdowns in 12 games at Pittsburgh in his career the last 2 years. According to Kiper Jr., quote, Means was one of my combine risers in February. He has big hands and long arms and ran a 4.43 second 40-yard dash in Indianapolis. He also was productive in college, leading the ACC with 18 contested catches in 2023. Now, there are a lot of very good wide receivers. There's going to be a lot of good wide receivers taken in the first round, late first, early second. Means the biggest knock on him is that, he's kind of jumped around school to school a little bit. Doesn't do anything great. All right. But contested catches and some size. As Bub Means is, where's his, I saw the size in a second here. Where's the measurables? A guy that's 6'2", obviously with Josh Reynolds gone, the Lions are going to need some size and somebody that is an outside receiver. Now, Dane Brugler ripped Bub Means at theathletic.com in his giant draft book and has him as a 6th round pick. While Lance Zierlein at NFL.com says Means is a day 3 pick with a shot to become a backup in the NFL. He would be a day 2 pick here if the Lions took him at number 73, which sounds like a bit of a stretch, but Bub Means is somebody that Mel Kiper Jr. likes a lot and would be an outside receiver replacing Josh Reynolds. I don't know if I love that pick, but again, I'm not going to go through every receiver that the Lions passed up. Remember this. It was on day 3 in 2021 when Brad Holmes took Amon-Ra St. Brown. and a ton of receivers were taken before him. So we'll have to see. So we're talking edge, safety, receiver in Mel Kiper Jr.'s 3-round mock draft on ESPN.com today. Speaking of Amon-Ra St. Brown, coming up next, we got to get into some money that he's going to be getting because it's going to be more than $25 million a year. It's going to be more than 3 at 75, and I'll explain why that is coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. And hey, everybody, Locked On Lions today is proudly brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. We're talking superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home some huge wins. Keep your car, keep that ride or die, whatever it is, alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Monday edition of Locked On Lions. Thanks for making us your first listen, everybody, and checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Stay tuned. Come up, I believe, this week is the Locked On Lions or Locked On NFL mock draft with all the Locked On hosts. So stay tuned for that right here on Locked On Lions. Again, Ryan McChrystal tomorrow with us from Sharp Football, their NFL draft analyst. All right, big news coming out today. The Philadelphia Eagles have extended wide receiver Devontae Smith. Very good receiver. Not their number one guy, but really their number two in Philadelphia. He gets 3 years, an extension of 3 years and $75 million, $25 million per season for you math majors out there. Now, what does that mean? Well, number one, Devontae Smith was a first-round pick in 2021. He was the 10th overall selection. Amon-Ra St. Brown was taken like 100 picks later. He's also from the 2021 draft. And so now these guys are starting to get extended. We see Justin Jefferson, by the way, skipping out on voluntary, and again, it's just voluntary, mini camps in Minnesota today. Wasn't there. But the bottom line is this. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a better receiver than Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is good. Right? Devontae Smith is a really good number two in Philly. Good size, good speed, makes big plays, has been on really good teams. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is better. And Amon-Ra St. Brown has been to Pro Bowls. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is all pro. And so we're sitting here on a baseline of Devontae getting $25 million. You have to figure that St. Brown's representatives, his agents, if they're sitting down with Brad Holmes, which according to reports, they are, now Amon-Ra is saying, if Devontae's getting 25, I got to be getting 27.5 to 28 million a year. 3 at 70. If the Lions number was 3 at 75, 25 million a year, the price tag just went up. Because if you look at the numbers, St. Brown, the impact, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a number one receiver. Might not be the size and the speed that you're talking about. All right. He might not look like a Julio Jones or a Justin Jefferson or any of these bigger wide receivers that are in the league. Okay. But, Michael Irvin, Terrell Owens, he doesn't look like those guys. But all Amon-Ra St. Brown does is put up numbers. All he's been doing the last 2 years is winning. Devontae Smith, good player. Not even the number one receiver on his own team. Amon-Ra St. Brown is our guy. He's the best. He's a top 5 or 6 receiver in this league. I wouldn't say the same thing about Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith is good. Okay, but when we're talking elite wide receivers in this game, we're talking about players that have been all pro and been Pro Bowlers. I think Smith has been to 1, but St. Brown is better. So that price tag just went up. I'm expecting him to, at a minimum, asking for $28 million a year. Now, is it a big difference if we're talking St. Brown's looking for a 4-year deal? If he's looking for 4 at 120 and he's looking for $30 million a year, are you giving that to him if you're the Lions? You might have to. He's that valuable. He's that good. He's that reliable. He's an unbelievable leader in that locker room. He and Jared Goff have a chemistry that has helped elevate this franchise to a 9-win team and to a 12-win team the last 2 years. And so, you know, this is a no-brainer. You look and see what Devontae got. I don't care if he was taken in the first round and Amon-Ra was taken at 112 and Devontae was taken at 10. Doesn't matter. Who's the better football player? St. Brown is. So you have to figure now, $25 million a year is too low. That's what Smith got, but St. Brown's can be doing better damage contractually there. So that's some pretty big news today. You look at it too from a standpoint of consistency. The one thing the Lions have done is they've kept their own guys around. They've extended players, whether it was Anzalone, whether it was Decker a couple of years ago, and obviously he's going to be up after this year too, having conversations with Goff, wanting to keep guys around. That's what the Lions have done. They've drafted well, they've developed, and they've retained. Graham Glasgow retained this year. There's a consistency there. You're going to let Amon-Ra walk over a few $1 million? No way. But he's not getting 3 at 75. He's going to do better than that. Same draft as Devontae Smith, but taken 3 rounds later. Isn't that crazy? So keep an eye on that. That should maybe change negotiations a little bit. We'll see. I still think the Lions will get something done, and they don't want to franchise tag him or do anything like that after this year. You want to keep him happy because he is just a ray of sunshine in that room and a heck of a football player. Speaking of heck of a football players, yes, ladies and gentlemen, my man Matty Style hit me up over the weekend. Others were all over it. Jake Bates is at it again. Yes, the Michigan Panthers of the UFL playing at Ford Field. Do they play every game at Ford Field? That's what it seems like. He is now 5 for 5 on field goals. And once again, yesterday down at Ford Field, hit a big one. We know about the 64-yarder he made. We know about the 62-yarder he made. He's made from 52. Yesterday, he kicked a 55-yard field goal with room to spare at Ford Field in the Michigan Panthers' victory. I believe they beat Houston yesterday. I don't know if anybody's going to these games. I know the game over the weekend that I had on, I was in the gym Saturday night, and Fox had on one of the games, and Adrian Martinez was quarterbacking. I think it was Birmingham. And only one side of the stadium has fans. And it's the side that the cameras are on. So they're not, or it's the side that the cameras are facing. So the opposite side. The side that the cameras are on and located the cameras, those bleachers are all empty. But on the other side, there's fans. I don't know what's going on at the UFL and Ford Field, if there's anybody going. Didn't sound like there were many people at the opener. It was like 9,000. But regardless, Jake Bates is going to make an NFL roster. And if that's the guy that's coming in to compete with the Money Badger, I'm all for it. The guy loves kicking at Ford Field. 62, 64, 52, and 55, 5 for 5 on field goals. And after the game, he's high-fiving the fans, and they're all telling him to stay. Now, again, the Lions are not allowed to contact the kicker, but they could talk to Mike Nolan, they could talk to the GM, and go that route until the UFL season is over. But the legendary Jake Bates, got to get him into camp for the Lions to compete with Badgley. Who knows? Maybe he makes the team. Kid for the Cowboys that kicked last year, hadn't kicked since high school either. And he was all pro. So keep an eye on that. But Jake Bates at it again. All right, we got to talk a little top 30 visits. Some new players have come into Allen Park. I mean, I cannot believe this, ladies and gentlemen. We are closing in on the draft. We are less than 2 weeks away. We will get to all of that. Coming up next, right here on Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network. here on a beautiful Monday. Happy Patriots Day, everybody. My Guardians went into Boston and ruined Patriots Day. Love that. Back after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Monday. It's an exciting day. We also have something to tell you about, and that is Monopoly Go. I've been told I'm a very competitive person. You think that's true? Well, I have a competitive side. We all do. My competitive side is a big fan of Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. The best part is messing with friends. Now, I got my wife into this. So actually, she got me into it at first, but she loves it. She can change them rent. She can change the rent on iconic properties, just like in classic Monopoly. But now I can also rob their value of riches for myself. And the leaderboards show me who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. It's a lot of fun. It's not just my competitive side or my wife's that loves it. You can team up with friends and people all around the world in timed tournaments to earn huge rewards. So get in the game and join your friends. Download Monopoly Go now for free on the App Store or on Google Play. It is Monopoly Go, and we welcome them to the Locked On Lions program. Hey, what about our friends at FanDuel as well? It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Play-in games coming up this week. Lakers, Warriors, Pelicans. Heck, Sixers and Heat are going to be interesting. You want to bet on the game? Do so at FanDuel. All right? And plus, you get that $150 for free. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on the app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I'm telling you, my wife is hooked on that Monopoly Go, by the way, and TikTok. She's not on TikTok. Neither am I. I mean, I scroll through it, but I haven't done any videos yet. What's up, brother? That one's out of control. Gotta love sketch, right? Special players, special teams, whatever. Anyway, I might be 51, but I know my stuff. We're about to be 51. All right, what's going on with visits down in Allen Park? Tomorrow, we are being told that edge rusher from Western Michigan, Marshawn Kneeland, is coming to Allen Park to meet with the Lions. Kneeland also has visits this week with the Bills and the Packers. Really good football player, can get to the quarterback, kind of a linebacker / edge type, not as big as Darius Robinson, but he's allegedly, or reportedly, coming to Allen Park. Also, last week, offensive tackle Giovanni Manu from the CFL, another CFL player, visiting Allen Park. And as Dave Burkett reported over the weekend, Johnny Newton, the defensive tackle from Illinois, coming to Allen Park. Let me say something about Jerzon Johnny Newton. I think it was Brett Whitefield, who we had on from Fantasy Points a couple of weeks ago, said it. If somehow, some way, the Lions were to trade up in the first round and go out and try to get a player that is just physical, a Lion through and through, and move up from 29, it's this guy, Johnny Newton. Now, again, you're going to say, well, why would the Lions move up in the first round to get a guy that wouldn't even start? Because you got DJ Reader and you got Aleem McNeil. It just might be that they have him so highly rated on their board, regardless of position, that they would go get him. And for him to be coming into town, or came in over the weekend, and visited the Lions, tells you about their interest in him. Many people do not feel that Johnny Newton from Illinois, defensive tackle of the Stars here, is going to be there at 29. No chance. But Lions are doing their due diligence, and this is now 13 players, at least reportedly, that the Lions have brought in for visits. And I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 13 cornerbacks. We told you, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quantez Stiggers, Terrion Arnold, Drew Phillips, Ennis Rakestraw, Kalen Carson, and Nehemiah Pritchett. So 7 of the 13 have been cornerbacks. Again, this could all be a smokescreen. Brad Holmes could be pulling our chain here and he may end up taking an offensive lineman at 29. All right. Coyote Owashika was another restricted free agent that the Lions brought back today, along with Kamon Craig and James Houston. So Owashika, for depth, started a couple games last year, also brought back. The Lions could use another offensive lineman. We know about edge. We've talked about another D tackle, safety, corner, receiver, but not one specific need where we're sitting here going, oh, at 29, they must take blank. That's not the case with this football team. There's good depth here. But Johnny Newton would be awesome. I just don't think there's any way he's going to be there at number 29. But he'd be a heck of a rotational piece and a force on the interior of that D line to go along with Reeder and McNeil as well. All right, Ryan McChrystal tomorrow from Sharp Football. We'll have him on the show, talk a little draft with him. Thanks for making us your first listen today, checking us out wherever you will get your podcasts, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Locked On Lions for a Monday here on Patriots Day and Tax Day. Pay your taxes.